Good afternoon. We're glad to welcome you to our SAP Tech Talks webinar. A few words regarding the event organization. The webinar will be recorded and then posted on our YouTube channel. You may ask all your questions in the Q&A field. At the end of the event, our speaker will answer all of them and choose the best question, the author of which will get a prize from our community. Our today's speaker is Dmitry Liakhovets, and the topic of his webinar is P&L reporting, indicator of company health. I give the floor to our speaker.
Hi, colleagues. I'm glad to have opportunity to share with you my knowledge, my thoughts related P&L reporting, and I hope it would be useful for you in the future. Somewhat about me. I have more than 15 years experience as working as executive manager across retail companies. More than 10 years experience working as business and solution architect, and about 10 years experience of working as a sub-consultant. That's why I know this topic from both sides, from IT and from business, and I hope my observation will be useful for you. At first, somewhat related to current agenda. At the beginning, I want to speak about essence of P&L reporting. After that, deep dive related to P&L structure and possible improvements. After that, we look at some P&L views and ways of analysis of P&L. And finally, we look at possible range of metrics which are relevant to particular retail sub segments. In general, as I mentioned before, I am guy from retail. That's why lots of examples will be dedicated to retail area. But nevertheless, of course, this P&L reporting and many ways for improvement are applicable for any industries. Let's start. At the beginning, I want to start from definition. What P&L report or P&L statement is. It's just a financial statement that summarized the revenues, costs, and expenses incurred during specified period. In general, P&L is one of three key financial statements that every public company issues quarterly or annually along with balance sheet and cash flow statement. But of course, now P&L reporting, P&L report is used very widely across all companies. It doesn't matter public or private company, are applicable for any companies. And at the beginning, P&L report was used as a tool for understanding performance of a company by investors. But now you can see that P&L report is used as key tool for understanding current performance of a company by any top managers, even middle managers, even particular specialists for understanding current performance of a company. But nevertheless, when we speak about strategy, P&L report, it's not about strategy. If we speak about strategy perspective of a company for horizon 1, 2, or 3 years, P&L report doesn't reflect perspective of a company and future profitability. For this aim, we should use report like balance sheet or other operational reporting, and of course analysis from different sides. In general, P&L report it is bunch of structured information which reflect perspective of ability to operate and performance of a company on horizon 3 months or more. But in general, we can look at no more than 12 months based on historical data. But when we try to understand ability to operate company in short-term perspective, like several weeks, it's much better to use cash flow report. One of the most useful things for which we can use P&L report, it's understanding bottlenecks in performance of a company. We will look further how we can identify it and how we can find it. It's key, in my opinion, revival bottlenecks in performance. It is the key essence of usage P&L reporting. But of course, P&L reporting, it's not single source of truth regarding of a company profitability. And we can find on the market lots of examples of it, lots of proof of it. For example, Amazon or FedEx companies, they didn't make even $1 of profit during more than 5 years. That's why negative profit, it's not indicator of bad company, especially when we speak about startups. Nevertheless, very often when we speak P&L reporting, we can find in it some metrics which are typically used for motivation of top managers or middle managers of the companies. Because as metrics in P&L reports relevant to financial side, it's not only one source for making a good motivation system. And of course, for this aim, we should combine metrics from P&L with other metrics, for example, client satisfaction, efficiency of usage investment, and etc., for proper motivation system. But nevertheless, P&L reporting, very useful source for understanding how perform top and middle managers from operational perspective. Let's go further. When we try to understand structure P&L report, typically P&L report includes 2 parts of items. The first part of items related to profit. And if you speak about retailers, they operate with such term like front margin, back margin, gross margin, revenue. This is all about profit. For example, gross margin, a difference between invoice price, price of purchasing, and selling price of retailers. And of course, for profit, we can add some profit from services, sublease or anything else. When we look at cost items, we can find that the biggest cost generator, cost items in P&L, as a rule, if you speak about retailers, it is cost for labor cost, renting cost, logistics cost. And for each area, we can find possible opportunity for improvement. For example, if we speak about commerce, if we speak about profit related to margin, We can increase front margin via using SAP assortment management tool. What it is? It is special tool which allows retailers to make tailor-made assortment for each store of retail chain. It's very important because it's very difficult task to make exactly assortment which is necessary for customers. And of course, as a result of this exercise, we can get much bigger margin and much more satisfied clients as a result. For example, if we speak about cost and, for example, cost for labor, we can apply special solution like workforce management system by Kronos or VFS system or any other solution from this side. Workforce management solution allows to retailers or any other companies to make automatically time schedule with minimization of wastage of time in accordance with load. It is very important because applying of this solution can bring companies 10 or sometimes more percentage of additional profit as a result. A bit more details. If we look to collaboration between retailers and manufacturers through P&L, we see that margin consists of two items: front margin and back margin. Front margin, and I mentioned before, it's different between invoice price and retail prices, but back margin mostly consists of bonuses, which can get by retailers in accordance with agreement between manufacturers and retailers. If particular retailer achieves goals of selling a particular goods, this retailer get bonuses from manufacturer. It is very important side of profit for any retailers. And this area for improvement can be done via implementation, for example, solution like S4HANA for agreement profitability and negotiation by GCOM. It's like example, but what I want to mention is to provide to you that any areas of improvement can be touched with specific solution which on demand it can be very useful for retailers. Probably the key moments, key topics about structure, and now I want to show you some details related to analysis of this structure. Typically, retailers use traditional P&L view of P&L reporting. This is a simple structure. We can see such structure in P&L reporting, which public company typically allowed to download via their public sites. This structure includes gross sales, cost of goods sold, resulting gross margin, divisional cost, and as a result, EBITDA. EBITDA, in general, it is indicator metric which show us operational profitability of a company. But for reviving, for understanding real bottlenecks of the company, it's not enough. That's why companies some years ago start to use a special approach, cost to serve approach, a special P&L view, which can allow to understand bottlenecks, much more precisely than before. And of course, for this aim, companies should use particular tools because it demands very detailed, very time-consuming calculation. For this aim, SAP EPAM can be very applicable. What is it in reality? In reality, it is very similar to traditional P&L view, but we see that in structure of this P&L, we see additional elements like cost for particular processes. It's very important because if we look to real company and try to understand area of improvement, we should see how particular cost for particular process changing during time. And after that, for example, if we see that cost for order processing was increased, we can pay attention to this area and try to understand which initiatives we can implement in accordance with such situations. In reality, every company, especially when we speak about retail company, operate through different channel of selling. For example, if company operates with their own retail stores, and at the same time, company operates with as e-commerce player, we see that cost for particular processes are different, very different, and split of cost for processes are very different to each other. For example, if we speak about e-commerce channel, we should take into account mostly cost for last mile delivery because it's a crucial part of this business, this channel. But if we speak about traditional retail store, store labor cost is also the most crucial part of its operational model. That's why such type of analysis through set of particular processes is very important to understand bottlenecks in performance of a company. But we should understand that P&L can be very useful for other people. For example, if we speak about category managers or if we speak about marketing, that these managers demand other P&L views. For example, when we try to understand performance of particular category groups, we should use a view which allow us to understand profitability of particular category groups. For example, in this case, beer is most profitable category for this company, but chips brings losses. It allows category managers to choose to make right decision regarding future of development. The same situation we can see with customer segment analysis. We also, via such approach with applying S4HANA SAP EPAM, we can get a very detailed split of our P&L through particular customer segment. For example, here we see the most profitable customer segment is distributors. They bring us 15% of operational profit. It's very important, and it can be allowed to us to make additional investment, for example, to advertisement or to service for such type of clients. And we can take decision regarding client segments which bring us losses, for example. In this case, we see that pubs and clubs client segments brings to the company less profits than others. Such type of analysis demands very consuming, very precise calculations with a lot of drivers, because we need to allocate cost through lots of drivers relevant for particular cost objects, like categories or SKUs or customer segments, or even a single customer. We can understand profitability of single customers. Sometimes it can be important for making decision. And some words about possible values of metrics. Why it is important? By understanding a particular level of metrics, we can quickly understand possible area for improvements, or area where improvements not necessary. And of course, we can understand it as a rule, as at glance at first, from comparison with industry benchmarks, or we can look to reporting inside company in history perspective, and look how particular metrics is changing in short time or long time. It depends on the situation. But we should take into account that some metrics are very different for different sub-segments. For example, if we speak about grocery, for grocery, cost for rent is lowest in comparison with other sub-retail segments. Why it happens? It happens by reason the grocery is typical operate as a traffic generator, because grocery demands very attractive companies for customers, and they generate customers traffic a lot. That's why rent for them as a rule on lowest level. But on the other hand, for example, labor cost for fashion retailers can be on very high level, especially by reason necessity of providing consulting across front of stores. And for each areas, we can apply different solution. For example, if we speak about logistics, I believe you know that SAP provides lots of solution. As example, SAP EVM, SAP transportation management for decreasing logistic and transportation cost via better usage of space, via reducing time for achievement particular movement, and etc. That's why P&L report provide us understanding about metrics, about solution. In a nutshell, about my presentation, which I want to share with you, P&L, this is good tool for revival bottlenecks, real good tool. But for leverage this tool in a proper way, we have to use special solution, like SAP EPAM, like S4HANA, and apply a special approach for cost allocation. For example, cost to serve and activity-based costing. That's all about knowledge and information which I wanted to share with you. And now I am ready to answer for your questions.
Yeah, we have some questions in the chat. First question regarding the recording. Will it be shared? Yes, definitely. We will send you the links to the recording a bit later with a separate message. So, next question. Good day. Could you please kindly share where we can find the best examples of P&L views?
Okay. In reality, you can find some examples from public companies. You can easily to find some site, from example, from Microsoft or Google, or for example, some retailers, for example, Walmart, uh, from their site for investors, and download these P&Ls. As a rule, they release them one time per quarter annually, and use it. The most advanced P&L report we can find across company like Walmart or Zalando or something similar to them. I know that they released very good and detailed P&L report, which can be used for understanding their performance.
Mhm. Perfect, thank you. Next question. How many categories of P&L exist?
It is it depends on what we mean when we speak about categories. In reality, I know two types. It's typical when we don't do allocation to detailed cost object and do it. But but of course, we can find other type of classification and category of P&Ls. For example, typically P&L can be viewed by regional structure or line of business structure. It's also a particular type of P&Ls can be used inside of the company. But I suppose if we speak about types of P&L in general, it can be endless a number of types.
Perfect. So, any other questions, colleagues? Don't be shy. We have a cool prize. While you're generating new questions, we encourage you to join our community on other social networks like Facebook, Telegram, LinkedIn, and of course, Where Community Platform via the link in the chat. So, let's check other questions. Does SAP PMP needs a special license for or SAP S/4HANA license will be enough?
Yeah, good questions. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. It depends on point of view. PNL demands additional license. As for HANA license, not enough for using profitability analysis, such type of components from SAP company. But in general, PAPM can be implemented without S4HANA with other source of detailed cost, but with S4HANA is much cheaper in general. But answer to your question directly, yes, it demands additional license.
Thank you. So, as I see, there are no questions anymore. And also, I'd like to remind you, Dmitry, we had some questions on the We Are community platform beforehand. So, and it's time to choose the winner. Which question did you like the most?
Yeah, colleagues. I prefer to answer for questions which I saw at the beginning on our platform. It's about history. In reality, P&L report it is a very old invention. These three reports, I mean P&L, balance sheet, cash flow, were mentioned more than 500 years ago by Luca Pacioli. It is Italian mathematician who released his textbook in this time dedicated to accounting. That's why this reporting, it's very mature way of analysis performance of a company. And now this type of reporting continues to evolve. And return to your question, in my opinion, this question regarding history of P&L report is the most interesting, and I choose this one.
I see. And we also actually we have other questions. My colleagues share some questions. Yeah, people are striving to get the prize. So other questions. Could you please share related certification to work with P&L? And probably you can advise some of them.
When we speak about certification, mostly applicable when we are going to do official audit of this process. Of course, if you are going to work as official auditor in across Big Four company, so of course you should have particular certification. I don't know exactly how it's named. You can find it easily by Googling, but nevertheless, for using P&L, it is not necessary. But if you want to improve methodology, or if you want to be official auditor of P&L of companies, of course it is necessary. And you can find lots of type of certificate dedicated to particular area of analysis. And I see other questions.
Yes,
Does account-based CAPA covered all aspect of P&L reports in S4? Unfortunately, no. When we speak about S4 dedicated mostly about registration. S4, it's great tool for detailed information about cost. But when we speak about allocation, when we speak about ability to allocate cost through drivers, it is almost impossible to do with a high level of load. Sometimes if a company is small, S4HANA can allow it, because of course you know that CAPA allows to allocate costs through particular objects through drivers. But on particular level of number of this object for companies with 100 stores, it's impossible. For example, it is necessary to use EPAM to calculate, to allocate billions items through drivers. It's the first point of using EPAM. The second, it's a tool for quick view of detailed analysis. Via PAPM, we can deep dive into details very quickly, and we can links between very granularity level of cost with high level granularity. It's very important for analysis. That's why S4HANA can be used, but mostly for small or middle companies. But when we speak about big companies, it's impossible to work with such approach without PAPM.
Perfect. And one more question. Are there any P&L approaches to include high ROI with high initial investment to the overall picture?
I don't think so. Of course, P&L can be used for calculation ROI, and very often we can see when we try to prove, when they try to persuade stakeholders of in investment in particular area, we should make P&L. We should make forecast regarding P&L. It is important for proof investment, but sometimes it can be costly enough. But nevertheless, when we speak about startups or development particular channels, it's very important to use P&L for calculation of ROI. As a good proof for initial investment. You are right, but it's not applicable all time. It depends on size of scale of a project. If it is big project, if it's startup, of course, in this case, we should try to forecast P&L in the future as one of the proof point for investors.
Perfect. And one more question. Is it possible to use SAP EPAM for preparing not only actual P&L, but also planned budget forecast P&L?
Yeah. It's exactly for it. PAPM allows to make plan, to make budget, but if you speak about plan should be load from other, for example, planning system, other planning system. But PAPM allows to do scenario with different changing of these plans. But initially, we should get plan and budget from other sources. But PAPM allows to combine this together and apply different scenarios for understanding how it can behave in the future if, for example, margin on particular category increase or decrease significantly.
Perfect, thank you. Probably that's it. So, what about the winner? Did you change your mind? Do you have any questions that you liked most?
No, I don't change my mind. I suppose question regarding history is most interesting one. I hope it also meets some expectation of audience.
Yeah, perfect. Then, Katerina, congratulations. The prize is yours. So, as already mentioned, today's webinar recording will be posted on our YouTube channel. The links to the recording will be sent separately. Colleagues, thank you very much again for your participation and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.